Well, here is a garden update from my brother Larry Hall up in Brainerd, Minnesota, the rain gutter grow system man himself. And here is the update on the garden. Where in the world is my garden? You wouldn't believe it, but I don't know what the date is today, but it's been 70 some degrees with lows in the 50s all week long. So I planted this entire garden. Tonight it's going to be 27 degrees in Nashville. I got two choices. I could either come out here and cover every single plant with plastic bags or all that, or do what you can do with a rain gutter grow system, which was really the unique idea to start with. What'd we do? We picked up our garden and we took it in the house. Here it is. Our entire garden is now sitting in our living room. See how slick that is if you use a rain gutter grow system or these grow bags, because you can just pick them up and move them right into your living room, and it can get as cold as it wants outside, because when we're watching television tonight we'll be watching these little plants grow. We marked every single tub so we know where every single one goes, exactly back in the same location. And I'll tell you why I did that. I met a guy years ago, had been planting trees for like 30 years. And when somebody'd find a nice spruce tree out in the woods, they wanted to have it moved into their yard, they'd send out one of them big spade trucks. You've seen them. They got them big 4 spades on the back up and they dig it up. And he said, what you want to do, whether you dig up a tiny tree or a big 12-footer to put in your yard, you mark the branch on the north side of the tree, or east, west, it doesn't matter, south, doesn't matter. But you mark the side as, say, north. When you get to your yard, you plant it so it's also north. And there's a reason for that. If you've ever watched high-speed photography, and you'll see a tree out there, and it shows it with the moon, it pulls it back and forth, all the fibers within the body of the tree, or plants, as small as these for that matter. If you watch high-speed photography, you'll see that little plant crank back and forth. So if you move a plant, make sure you put it back so it aims the same direction, north, south, east, west. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Because the fibers from the time that tree was little till it's 12 feet high have all been used to cranking back and forth like that. So if you plant it and just have the spade truck come out to your yard and dump that tree in a hole, and you don't pay attention to which way was north or south, it becomes dormant almost like for 2 years. You'll wonder, why is this tree not growing? That's because it's trying to restructure its DNA inside to bend with the moon and the stars and the sun and all that jazz. But anyway, here is our living room garden now. Whether you have the rain gutter grow system or whether you have this bag system, frost is going to hit us tonight. Sheila, what's the date today? Today's the 15th. Yeah, it's tax day. 15th of April, and it's been 70-some degrees all week long. And now it's going to be chilly willy tonight, 27. Some say down as low as 22. And I hope she's okay. That's our resident mallard, our little hen. She's been tucked in over there. She got a little beak under her wing today, a little chilly, I guess. There's a mallard sitting on about 12 eggs. In fact, I can walk clear over to her. She never gets too excited about anything. There she is. Now we do have a few other trees and bush and small shrubs out here, like all of our blackberries, some of our small blueberry plants that are here, and Sheila's rose bushes, which are out front now. We moved them to the front of the deck. 3 nice bushes. I'm going to try something that they do in California to protect apple trees and everything else. Tonight we've got one of them little pocket hoses, and when it hits 20 degrees, so I know it's already freezing cold, I'm going to come out, I'm going to connect it to this little pump right here, and I'm going to spray all these trees and all my blueberry bushes and all my blackberry bushes with a fine mist of water till they're all soaking wet. And if you go online and check, that freezes and it prevents the frost. I know it sounds crazy, but that happens to be the theory. And when it warms up the next day and melts the ice off, all these leaves, they will still be here. So we're going to give that a try tonight, and hopefully that's the answer. But our garden is no longer sitting on the deck. thanks to Larry Hall's rain gutter grow system and the grow bag system, you can move either one of them indoors, which gives you a jump start. Because if you got a week long, like if you're up in Minnesota and you got beautiful weather but you're afraid to plant, go ahead and plant, because if the frost comes, move it in your garage. You're in great shape. This is something that I built when I was loading these buckets when I did all rain gutter grow system. Underneath here is a net cup, a little 3-inch round net cup, about, well, it's just long enough where it won't quite go to the bottom of that rain gutter, which is perfect. But you can't pick that bucket up and set it on the floor because it will cram that net cup. So either you got to stand out in the yard holding that bucket up for the rest of your life, or build yourself one of these little 2x4 frames, and that little net cup can go right in that middle hole, and the bucket will sit right there while you're packing it with your wet soil and all that before you carry it out and set it in your rain gutter grow system. I actually think I put one of those in the bottom of a 5-gallon pail at one point. But so if you've got a few of those made, and let's say you've got, you know, 10 buckets growing nice tomatoes on your patio and you planted early, here comes the bad weather, you just dig out your 10 little 2x4 frames, pick them up, carry them in, set them right in there so it's got something to hold that net cup off the floor. Next day when it goes back into the 50s and 60s, you know you're good to go, right back outside. So that is it. I'm going to go in and download this onto YouTube and send it to my brother Larry Hall up in Brainerd, Minnesota, who, thank goodness, have gave a lot of people an opportunity to plant early, to plant mobile. That's another thing too, is if you get evicted out of your apartment or you just want to change residence, mark which way is north and south on your little grow bags and take your garden with you. Isn't that slick? Slicker than snot out of pump handle. This is Steve Hall in Nashville, Tennessee, with a living room full of garden here on our Miss Sheila's houseboat, and this goes out to my brother Larry Hall in Brainerd, Minnesota, who invented all this craziness. But it's going to be packed. And look at these plants. Look at how big. They're clear up past the first ring. I had the little wires over the top, but I pulled them off to get them in here. 26 to 27 degrees tonight. I can't believe it. Yeah, but next week, I think the low is going to be in the 40s and the 50s, and the highs are going to be in the 70s by the end of the week. So the garden will go back out on the deck, and we'll save it perfect. Tonight, these little plants will be 72 degrees or 73 degrees sitting here in our living room. Thanks, Larry. This is your brother Steve in Nashville, Tennessee, with your grow bag system sitting in my living room. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.